We're going to continue with human resources, and now we're going to focus on the aspects of defining jobs and pay. In the last video, we finished off with contingent workers. These are people that work part-time. They may work part of the year. They may work for short periods of the year, and they may come back on an as-needed basis. And we talked about the benefits of having them, that you don't have to give them benefits. They can come and go as the needs of the business change and as the particular projects change. Other ways of looking and developing employees revolve around job assignments. Now, HR will start with new employee training, orientation mostly. In large companies, what are the benefits? What are the working hours? What kind of things can you expect? Training, they might do training in a large organization if it's the same sort of work, but typically it's going to get done by the hiring organization that knows the job better. Things that might get done once you have employees, and HR doesn't always get involved in this. This is typically, again, the organization. But you might start with job rotation. Job rotation is a technique used to help two problems. One is you don't want to have employees get bored by doing the same thing all the time. The other is you don't want to have somebody who just becomes a job specialist and nobody else can do that in the business. We call that a truck or a bus person. If they get hit by a truck or a bus, the business stops. And you don't want that. So job rotation helps with that. There's other people that can do the jobs. People don't get as bored. The problem is then people don't maybe get as skilled in a particular job, as efficient, and it costs money to train people and to redo these things. Job enlargement is a case where I give people more tasks to do. Not necessarily more fulfilling. It's just, well, you stock the shelves, now you can also do the checkout. Okay. It might help in terms of boredom, but it's not really a substantial thing. And depending upon the new task, people may want more money. Job enrichment is giving people more meaningful, fulfilling jobs. So I may allow you to pick the design of my clothing. Not only do you stock the inventory, but you may design the fall or pick the fall shirts, styles, or dresses, or whatever. It makes your job more fulfilling, job enrichment, and leads to more satisfied employees. Now, another way that HR and businesses can accommodate people and help keep them satisfied, not necessarily motivated, if you remember Hertzberg and his hygiene versus motivation factors. But one is flex time. Flex time is allowing people to come in within certain parameters earlier or later and leave earlier or later. Typically, you require everybody to be there during certain hours, but flex time will give people the ability to accommodate, for example, the needs to have kids at home, getting kids to school or picking them up from school, or dental appointments, or going to a ball game. Compressed work weeks, this is typically something like 40 hours in 4 days. You work 10 hours for 4 days, and then you get 3 days off. Again, a benefit for certain people. Job sharing, you might have two people that share the same job. Somebody might work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the other person works Thursday and Friday. And telecommuting. This is really popular now during the coronavirus. Everybody's telecommuting. And it'll be interesting to see how, after all this plays out, if this becomes a much more popular thing and a sustainable thing, or are people going to go back to the habits that we had before? There's downsides, obviously, to telecommuting. You get people who don't get dressed, maybe don't shave or shower, or they got to stop and watch what's going on TV or play with the dog. So it's not necessarily very efficient, but it does have a lot of advantages, as we're finding out right now during the virus. Another very important aspect of HR's job is to define the compensation plan. The word plan is very important. They don't define how much individuals make on an ongoing basis. They define the structure. We can have wages, which are hourly payments, or salary, which is an amount you earn on an annual basis. So if you get $12 an hour, you're making a wage. If you get $35,000 a year, that's a salary. And they define the structure. They'll say, for a first level welder, this is what the pay range is. And for a second level welder, here's what the pay range is. For a first level supervisor, here's what the pay range is. And when I say pay range, I mean like from $35,000 to $45,000, things like that. Piecework, it's compensation based upon how much you produce. Commissions, based upon how much you sell. And there are other incentive programs and give bonuses. Bonuses can be structured based upon how well the company does or how well the employee does. Sometimes it can be both. Sometimes bonus structures are such that 50% of the bonus is based upon the company performance and 50% on the individual. Company does well and you don't do so well? Well, you still get half your bonus. Company does well but you suck, you might get half the bonus. If it's a 50-50 kind of thing. Profit sharing plans. This helps to encourage employees to increase the profits of the business. So profits that are gained above a certain level are shared with the employees. Stocks can be also an important part of compensation and potentially motivation, although we go back to those motivation theories. An ESOP is an employee stock ownership program. It's a fancy term for, I give you some stock. Companies just give employees stock. They do this so that employees have a vested interest in the business. They want employees to be motivated to help the business, not just do their individual jobs. If I'm sweeping the floor and there's a customer that needs help, that's not my problem, right? But if I'm an owner of the business, hey, I want to help. I want to increase the profits of the business because now I'm an owner. Another powerful incentive option here is stock options. I won't go into great detail, but these are very, very important and often topical in the news. Stock options give the right for someone to buy shares of stock at a fixed price. For example, I might grant shares in my car company, might grant, say, 1,000 options at $30 a share. That means somebody can buy 1,000 shares of stock at $30 a share. Now, where that becomes valuable is when the stock price goes up, those options are worth a lot of money. If the price goes from $30 to $60, I've now made $30 on each of those shares. I can sell them at $60 and buy them at $30. I made $30 a share times 1,000. I just made $30,000. So every dollar the stock price goes up, my option values are going up $1. These are particularly big incentives for executives.